So we don't give God the supreme position. Otherwise, anything else comes in, some marriage, some examination, or a new job. Those are always getting higher importance in our life. Our Shraddha is for that. That is why the puja or japa or whatever the Guru has said to practice that is given the last importance. If doing everything I have time, तो 5 मिनट बैठ लेते हैं, नहीं तो नहीं हो पाता है. पहले तो स्वामी जी जब दीक्षा दिए थे आधा घंटा बैठते थे. स्वामी जी बताए हैं 1 घंटा, लेकिन उसको हम काट के आधा घंटा कर लेते हैं हमेशा. तो आधा घंटा बैठते थे. अभी तो जिस दिन समय होता है 15 मिनट बैठ लेते हैं, कर लेते. बाकी हम चलते फिरते कर लेते हैं, चलते चलते कर लेते हैं. दैट इज वाइल एक्टिंग आई एम डूइंग द जापा. स्वामी जी बोले हैं ना इंटरेक्शन साधना, तो इंटरेक्शनल साधना करते हैं. इंटरेक्शन ही होता है, इंटरेक्शनल साधना नहीं होता है. वी कॉल इट इंटरेक्शनल साधना. एक्चुअली वी आर फुल्ली इन्वॉल्व इन द इंटरेक्शंस. इंटरेक्शन के समय थोड़ी आपको याद रहता है कि नहीं उनके प्रति खराब नहीं सोचना चाहिए, इनके प्रति क्लिंग नहीं करना चाहिए, राग द्वेषा दूर करना चाहिए, थोड़ी याद रहता है. तो उनको क्यों आप इंटरेक्शनल साधना बोलते हैं? वो तो सिर्फ इंटरेक्शन ही है और कुछ नहीं है. एक है कि बैठने में मेडिटेशन में मन नहीं लगता है, क्योंकि मन इधर उधर भागता है. स्वामी जी क्या करेंगे? दिन भर अगर मन इधर उधर आप जोर करके भगाते हैं तो वो मेडिटेशन में बैठने से वो भागेगा नहीं, भागेगा नहीं. Throughout the day we have been calling this, calling that unnecessarily. The person who does not exist also we will call his thoughts and condemn him, blame him, everything. Throughout the day we will go on doing all this. So when we are sitting in meditation, that's the free time, I am not involved in any work at all. Will not all the thoughts come? They will say that how can you tell us to go away? Throughout the day you have invited us, and now we are sitting quietly. This is the time I can invade you. I can not disturb. I can follow your invitation. Throughout the day you have invited. Suddenly after the invitation you cannot say you go away. You have to feed me. So the Guru's instruction or the Ishvara takes the last position in life. But Shraddha means giving the supreme position in life. Until we do it, we will not be the real sadhak. For everything, he has to be given the supreme position. When we value this goal as supreme, then only we will give supreme position. Unless you value it as supreme, how can you give it supreme position? You will not give. So Shraddha, when you have Shraddha, means to give this pursuit the supreme position in life. That is why he says Shraddhavantaha, one who has the Shraddha. I don't know why Krishna always adds that Anasuyantaha with that. You will find that in 18th chapter, in 17th chapter. Whenever he is speaking about Shraddhavantaha or Shraddha, he is adding Anasuya or Asuya. That means Asuya means finding fault in good things. Paraguneshu doshaha avishkaranam. It is defined like this. Asuya, you know, there are some ladies whose name is Anasuya. It is common in Bengali. Asuya means paraguneshu dosha avishkaranam. Doshaha avishkaranam. That means in somebody else's guna also, good things also, we will find some fault in that. That is called asuya. Somebody has risen to a higher level also. He has risen, but you don't know, he was oiling the boss and all. Something we will say. Or somebody is very good. Suppose I say that, oh, that person is very good. He is very good, but he is very rough in his behavior. Something or other we will say. This is the asuya. We are not able to be happy with the others' gunas. When we see a quality, we should be happy. He may have other defects also, but at least seeing some quality, we should feel delighted about it. This is the blessedness we want. By feeling delighted, who is gaining? He is not gaining anything. I am gaining. Because if I appreciate that quality, seeing the quality anywhere, I would feel happy, delighted. And by that, the quality will grow in me also. That is the real love for the quality. Otherwise, when we are finding out some good quality in somebody, it is actually the raga or clinging towards the person. And some quality in him I am praising. I am really not loving the quality. When we love the quality, anywhere we see it in the enemy also, we will appreciate it and we will be happy finding that quality in him. समझते हैं? That is the real love for quality. And when we love the quality, that quality will automatically adorn us. We will be imbibing that quality automatically. So this asuya, he has tagged with this. That is, those who are doing ninda or finding fault in these words, whatever Krishna is suggesting, the instructions, if they are not finding fault in his instructions, then they get over, they outlive, they get freed from the bondage of karma, bondage created by karma. Now why he is saying? Because this asuya is very common in Guru-Shishya relationship also. It is not exactly paraguneshu dosha avishkaranam. It is when the Guru is telling you something for your good, you are finding fault in that. In that sense, asuya. Do you understand? We don't have faith in the Guru's mangalecha. Mangalecha means that the Guru will want only auspicious development for the disciple. He doesn't have any other vested interest, nothing. Because he has understood the greatness of this freedom, the beauty of this freedom. See, he wants everybody to get this freedom. So when somebody comes as a disciple, the only thing Guru wants him is to progress in the path and as much possible of this spiritual blessings should imbibe to him. This is his intention. So if the Shishya is not fit for receiving, generally they are not fit initially, so the Guru has to make their receptacle fit, that the adhara, the being of the Shishya, mind, intelligence of the Shishya, fit to receive this knowledge. Without that, how can he give it? He cannot give it. So his only intention is the welfare of the disciple. But the Shishyas will not have the faith in that. They will think that, oh, he is again and again criticizing me. Always either salt is more or other salt is less. Or something or other, everywhere. When some correction is given, oh, he is partial. He is always, that devotee did the wrong and he is scolding me. Or we will say that, क्यों वो ऐसे बोल रहे हैं, कोई जाके चुगली खाया है. These are the standard words we hear. कोई जाके चुगली खाया. अरे गुरु के बताने के लिए चुगली खाने की कोई ज़रूरत नहीं है, वो आपको देख के ही पता चलता है. लेकिन what happens is that when you are pointing out, suppose somebody has really कोई चुगली खाया है, somebody has reported. What happens is that then he will understand, he can put it in place that why his face is looking gloomy, why his face is not cheerful, why he was looking like that, what is the stealth in his character, what are the wrong points in his character. If the instance is given, he will be able to relate to it. Suppose he finds that the reporting is not matching with his idea of the person, he will not tell him anything. We say often, suppose A and B are there. Suppose A has done the mistake, B has not done, but Guru will scold B. Because A doesn't need the scolding. He understands that might be A might have done the mistake, but he doesn't need the scolding. B needs the scolding, although he has not done in this case. That is why they say that you should not criticize whatever the Guru says, you should simply take it. Because you will not be able to judge his comprehensive, his natural, the swabhava, that sahaja, actions and reactions. You will not be able to judge ever. So you have to understand it, his level, and why he is speaking, that he has no other intention than welfare. So with that, whatever he is doing. But we assign various wrong, what do you call it? We malign his words. We will impute wrong intentions in him. That he is partial, or he is only scolding me, or he is doing this, he is doing that. There are so many stories about it also. But Guru, to give something, he has to make the disciple fit. One saint was there, very great saint. he had a very big businessman disciple also. He was repeatedly asking him that for initiation, Diksha ke liye पूछ रहे थे. So he was saying, I will give, but years were passing, he was not giving. He was insisting again and again and again. The Guru would not say, let the time come, we will give. Then the Shishya started feeling bad about it, that the Guru is partial, he is giving initiation to so many other people, those who have arrived today, him also he has initiated, and to me he is not giving. These are all facts also in our areas also. Some people will be able to identify. So all these things are true. So seeing all that, he was getting a little, so one day he said that, okay, when you will give, we don't know, but at least you accept my invitation one day, I would like to feed you, because my wife also would like to serve you. सेवा करने की मौका दीजिए, आइए आप, हम कुछ आपको सेवा करना चाहते हैं, खिला के सेवा करना चाहते हैं. The Guru got it an opportunity. So what he did, he went with his brahmacharin disciple, and before going, went with his, now generally the sannyasins will move with their own kharpara and kamandalu. That means in which they will take food, that is the लौकी का जो ये बनता है ना, खरपर बोलते हैं उसमें, और कमंडलू में पानी, ये साथ में ही जाता है, साथ साथ लेके जाते हैं. हम लोग नहीं जाते हैं, हम लोगों का प्लेट यहाँ है लेकिन लेके जाना चाहिए. तो he went with that, and the man had given all that. Generally the rich businessmen, they will put silver thali, there will be 24 chota chota katori, silver katori, all the kinds will be served there and all. The Guru, the saint sat there and then asked the brahmacharin that you take my kharpar and smear clay on it. Go out, have some water and put earth and smear clay on it and bring it back. So he did it and brought it back. So when Guru's wife, the disciple, not disciple, the devotee and his wife started bringing the article and wanted to serve, he said, "Now you please serve in my kharpara." That this is it. Because we take only in this. No, Maharaj, ये सब प्लेट नया आपके लिए खरीदे हैं, they are all new, they are all silver plates, we will serve there, why don't you take that? No, you serve on my kharpara. And he said, but how can we serve there? Just now you have asked your brahmacharin to smear earth on it. It is all dirty. How can he serve in it? So what you can serve in it? 2-3 बार ऐसे ही बोले. Then the devotee said that, महाराज आज सुबह से उठ के हमारी पत्नी कितने प्रयास करके आपके लिए ये सब बनाए हैं, ये अगर उसमें डालेंगे तो उसका टेस्ट पूरा खराब हो जाएगा मिट्टी के साथ मिलके. See how egoistic we are. We are not worried about what he is taking, but more worried about my patni has made and that taste will be spoiled. So repeatedly 2-3 times he said, then he said that, okay, you have understood na, that it is a very, you have, both of you have marketed and prepared with lot of care and love, and it's a very precious thing that you are going to serve, so it cannot be served in a dirty vessel. This is the reason I am waiting for Diksha also, that when the Diksha, you have worked only for one day. What I am carrying, I have worked throughout my life, maybe 50 years, 60 years of life, whatever I have got as the best in my life, that is my sadhana. And I am going to give you that, a bit of that to you as Diksha, as initiation. Can I give it in a dirty vessel, which has not been clean? समझे क्या? अच्छा है? याद रखना चाहिए. So this, I said this regarding Anasuya, that so this Shraddhavanto Anasuyanto Antaha actually, that is very important here. that those who are nityam anutishtanti, those who are regularly practicing, always pursuing the instructions given by me, but they will be able to pursue it only when they are having the shraddha and they are not having asuya. Otherwise, they will not be able to practice. Many disciples may say that, Swamiji, whatever you have said, I am practicing. No. Until you have the shraddha, value for it, and you are not having any asuya, that you don't find out fault in the instructions, in his instructions, you will not be able to pursue it properly. The instructions will not be followed properly. Do you get that meaning? Huh? 17.3. There he is saying, Shraddha mayoyam purushaha yo yat shraddha sa eva saha. That is, a human being is embodiment of his shraddha. Because you may look different from outside, you may look this way, you may look that way. But what you are actually is your mind, is it not so? The real personality is your mind, your emotions. So that will be decided by what you are valuing most. As your shraddha is, so you will be. So he says here the statement is as if a person is an embodiment of shraddha, whatever he is valuing most. It's a very great statement we often quote. Yo yat shraddha sa eva saha. Whatever is our shraddha towards, we become that. We are embodiment of the shraddha. Ye tve tadabhyasuyanto. Next verse, 32 of 3rd chapter. Ye tu etad abhyasuyantaha. Antaha, the visarga gets dropped, it becomes okara. Ye tve tadabhyasuyanto. Nanu tishtanti me matam. Sarvajnana vimudham stan. Viddhi nashtana chetasaha. It is just the reverse of the previous verse. That is, those who out of asuya, that is finding fault in my instructions, that this is not the right thing, this, that and all, those who are not following these instructions, they are sarvajnana vimudha. They will never get the pure knowledge. They will always remain deluded. That is what happens. Those who find fault in Guru's instructions, you will find that they are not able to grasp the knowledge, receive the knowledge properly. Always it will get tarnished. Sarvarthan viparitamscha buddhissa parthatamasi. Whatever the Guru says, they will take in a different meaning. Sarvajnana vimudham stan. Whatever knowledge is given, they will remain deluded. It will not work in them. Viddhi nashtan achetasaha. Such, he is calling them achetasa. They are not connected to their real identity, their soul. Such people, their life becomes useless. Like we have the Upanishadic statement, Yadi chet avedid atha satyam asti nachediha vedin mahati vinashtihi bhuteshu bhuteshu vichitya dhiraha asman lokan pretya amrito bhavati. Iha ched avedit atha satyam asti. Iha means in this life, on this earth, not going to the heaven or to the other world after the body falls. Here itself, in this life. Chet, if in this life, avedit, we come to know the truth. Atha satyam asti, then the life becomes truthful. The life becomes fulfilled. Nachediha vedin mahati vinashtihi. If we are not able to know in this life, here itself, on this earth, then colossal is the loss. But we will never know how colossal is the loss, so it is okay. But if we come to know, then we will know that how colossal is the loss. For nothing we are suffering. For nothing we are making a wry face. For nothing we are quarreling and blaming and whatnot. The mind will become like space, or even lighter than that perhaps. Everything will come and go, nothing will touch. No tension, no stress. Tension, physical and mental, will be there. If you do some work, that kind of will be there. But it will not bind you. You will bear it. You will bear it cheerfully. Whatever tension, stresses are there, there won't be any problem in bearing them. So, Viddhi nashtan achetasaha. That is why he is saying that their life is spoiled. Now comes 33rd verse. This is sort of a conclusion. When he makes such statements, this is sort of, generally they come at the end of the chapter, but here it is not so. It is an end of a section. 33rd verse. Sadrisham cheshtate swasyaha prakriter jnanavanapi prakritim yanti bhutani nigrahah kim karishyati sadrisham cheshtate swasyaha prakriter jnanavanapi. He says jnanavan api, even the knowers, not only the ignorant people, but even the jnanavan, the knowers. Jnanavan api swasyaha prakritehe sadrisham cheshtate. Even the knowers also, whatever they do, it is following their own nature. Swasyaha prakritehe sadrisham. That is, according to their gunas, they do whatever to be done. Bhutani prakritim yanti nigraha kim karishyati. The beings are following prakriti. You should not try to force anything, forcefully do anything which is not following the prakriti. To say that, he is saying even the knowers also following their prakriti. This verse is often taken as a different meaning, that means wrong meaning, that it means there is no role for self-effort or self-will. That even the knowers also bound by the prakriti. The bhutani, all the beings are bound by their prakriti. Then where is the question of any sadhana? Then the Shastras would not have been written. The purpose of the Shastras is to transform your being. So if everything is prakriti, I am doing something nonsense also following my prakriti, where is the harm? Because Bhagavad Gita says, that is not the meaning. He says that, the other day also I said something called svabhava, swakarma, swadharma. That is, even a knower, he has a constituent, he has a personality, which is constituted of certain qualities. No two knowers will be the same. The other day I took the example of Ramakrishna Deva and Vivekananda. You can take any number of examples. All knowers are different in their activity, in their thought, in their expression, in their interpretation, also in their writing. They will be presenting in their own manner. It is because of their own samskara and whatever they have grown through, how much their intelligence is given to this kind of thinking, that kind of, so many things are there. Each knower is having a different personality. He follows that. According to that, whatever is the need of the society or circumstances, according to that he is doing, following his prakriti. So suppose a Kshatriya knower like Janaka Raja or Rama or so, they are ruling the kingdom, they are killing people also with the knowledge. There is no problem. They are not coming away from their prakriti by that. Everybody is following his prakriti. But it does not mean that the self-effort has no role at all. That is why immediately after that they have given the 34th verse. What is that? Indriyasyendriyasyarthe ragadveshau vyavasthitau tayorna vashamagachet Tau hyasya paripanthinau. He is saying indriyasya arthe ragadveshau vyavasthitau. Vyavasthitau means it has been ordained by nature, it has been ordained by creation. Indriyasya arthe. Artha means with which our indriyas react, interact. That means the object of the sense organs. That is the indriya, the artha for the indriya. So for each indriya, for the different artha, it is different object it is interacting with, there is always ragadvesha. Suppose the light is very bright, will your eyes be able to take it? It will not be able to take it. Suppose it is very salty, your tongue will not be able to take it. So this ragadvesha for the indriyas will be there. Ragadvesha means something it will like, something it will dislike, and it will not be common to all also. Some people will like rasgulla, some people will like salty something, chop, cutlet, etc. It is all different.